The reason why so many people spend their entire lives working hard yet still struggle financially, rarely tasting true freedom or long-term security, is not usually because they are lazy or unintelligent, but because they unknowingly operate within a set of patterns that quietly limit their growth, and understanding these patterns is the first powerful step toward escaping them. Because when you look closely at the lives of those who remain stuck paycheck to paycheck for decades, you begin to notice three deeply connected forces shaping their outcomes: mindset, skill level, and attachment to comfort. And while these factors may seem simple on the surface, they influence nearly every financial decision a person makes, starting with mindset, which acts as the foundation for everything else, since the way you think about money determines how you earn it, spend it, save it, invest it, and ultimately multiply it. And most people unknowingly develop what psychologists call a scarcity mindset, a belief system formed early in life through family conversations, cultural conditioning, school systems, and personal experiences, where money is seen as limited, difficult to obtain, reserved for the lucky or privileged, or tied to stress and survival rather than opportunity and growth. And when someone believes that money is scarce and hard to come by, they tend to operate from fear, protecting what little they have instead of positioning themselves to create more, avoiding risks because failure feels catastrophic, clinging to jobs they dislike because stability feels safer than possibility, and telling themselves stories like, "I'm not good with money," "investing is gambling," or "business is too risky for someone like me," which quietly becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because beliefs shape behavior, and behavior shapes results. So a person who sees money as fragile may hoard small savings in a low-interest account rather than investing in education, skills, or assets that generate returns. While someone with an abundance mindset understands that money flows toward value creation and strategic risk-taking, and instead of asking, "What if I lose?" they ask, "What if this grows?" And this difference in thinking may appear subtle, but compounds dramatically over time. Because wealth is not just about how much you earn, but about how you think about opportunity, growth, and leverage. And those who escape financial struggle often reframe money as a tool rather than a trophy, as a resource to be deployed rather than guarded in fear, recognizing that calculated risks inform decisions and continuous learning expand possibilities, whereas fear-based stagnation shrinks them. And yet mindset alone is not enough, because even the most optimistic thinker will struggle financially without valuable skills. Which brings us to the second major reason people remain stuck: lack of high income or high demand skills. Since in today's economy, money tends to follow value, and value is often delivered through specialized knowledge, problem-solving ability, communication, technical expertise, creativity, leadership, or sales. And while effort is admirable, effort without leverage rarely produces significant financial growth, meaning someone can work 12 exhausting hours a day performing low-skill tasks and still earn less than someone who works 4 focused hours applying a rare or in-demand skill that solves a meaningful problem. And this is not a judgment on effort, but a reflection of how markets function. Because compensation is typically tied to the scarcity and impact of a skill, not the number of hours worked. So, an individual limited to basic administrative duties or repetitive labor is constrained by the wage structure set by employers, while someone who invests time in mastering digital marketing, software development, data analysis, copywriting, graphic design, cybersecurity, automation, content creation, or high-level sales gains flexibility and leverage, because those skills can be monetized in multiple ways through freelancing, consulting, remote work, entrepreneurship, or scaling digital assets. And this diversification reduces dependency on a single paycheck, which is one of the greatest financial vulnerabilities many people face. Since relying solely on one employer means your income ceiling and security are largely controlled by external forces. But when you build skills that are transferable and valuable across industries and platforms, you create optionality. And optionality is a cornerstone of financial freedom, because it gives you the power to pivot, negotiate, and adapt as markets change. And yet, acquiring skills requires intention, discipline, and delayed gratification. qualities that many struggle to maintain in a world designed for instant entertainment and quick dopamine hits, which leads directly into the third silent trap. Comfort, because comfort feels safe but often acts as an invisible cage, keeping people in routines that no longer serve their growth, convincing them that stability is synonymous with security, even when that stability limits long-term progress. And it's understandable, since stepping outside familiar patterns triggers uncertainty and self-doubt. But growth almost always demands temporary discomfort, whether that means studying after long workdays, practicing public speaking despite anxiety, launching a side hustle despite fear of failure, investing money with the possibility of short-term loss, or waking up earlier to build something before the world demands your attention. And many remain stuck not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they choose predictable ease over challenging progress, telling themselves they will start someday when circumstances are perfect. Yet circumstances rarely align perfectly without decisive action. And over time, this attachment to comfort compounds just like positive habits do, but in the opposite direction, leading to years, sometimes decades, of unrealized potential, while those willing to endure short-term discomfort often experience long-term expansion. Because every new skill learned, every calculated risk taken, every uncomfortable conversation initiated, and every disciplined financial choice made builds confidence, competence, and capacity, and these small, repeated actions compound into transformation, illustrating a powerful truth. Financial freedom is less about dramatic overnight success and more about consistent, aligned decisions made over extended periods. And when mindset shifts from scarcity to abundance, skills evolve from basic to specialized, and comfort zones expand through intentional challenge. The trajectory of a person's financial life can change significantly, not instantly but steadily, like a plane adjusting its course by a few degrees and arriving at an entirely different destination over time. And this is why awareness matters so much, because recognizing the interplay between mindset, skill, and comfort gives you agency, showing that financial struggle is not always a fixed destiny, but often the result of patterns that can be interrupted, replaced, and redesigned, starting with honest self-reflection, asking whether your thoughts about money empower or limit you, whether your current skills create leverage or dependency, whether your daily routines challenge you or sedate you, and then making incremental but deliberate changes, such as dedicating time each week to learning a marketable skill, reallocating small amounts of money toward personal development or investment rather than consumption, seeking mentors or communities that elevate your thinking, tracking expenses to build financial awareness, experimenting with side projects to test income streams, and gradually increasing your tolerance for uncertainty, because resilience grows through exposure, not avoidance. And as you build competence, fear often diminishes, replaced by informed confidence. And informed confidence fuels bolder, smarter action, which then produces improved results, reinforcing a positive cycle that contrasts sharply with the negative loop of fear, stagnation, and limitation that keeps many trapped. And it's important to emphasize that none of this guarantees instant wealth or eliminates hardship, because economic systems, personal circumstances, and external factors all play roles. But within those constraints, there remains meaningful room for strategic improvement, especially in an era where information is widely accessible, online education is affordable or even free. Global markets can be reached from a laptop, and creative monetization opportunities expand rapidly, making it increasingly possible for individuals to build income streams aligned with their skills and interests, if they are willing to invest time and effort consistently. And perhaps the most empowering realization is that transformation does not require perfection, only progress, because waiting until you feel fully ready often delays action indefinitely, whereas starting imperfectly accelerates learning. And learning accelerates earning potential, and earning potential expands options, and options create freedom. So the real difference between those who remain financially strained and those who gradually break free is often not raw talent, but compounded choices, choosing growth over fear, skill development over stagnation, calculated risk over passive security, long-term investment over short-term comfort, and responsibility over blame. And while this path demands patience, discipline, and resilience, it also offers something deeply valuable: control. Because when you intentionally shape your mindset, deliberately cultivate valuable skills, and consistently stretch beyond your comfort zone, you move from reacting to circumstances to influencing them. And over time, this shift can mean the difference between decades of financial struggle and a steadily expanding sense of autonomy and security, proving that although many may spend their lives working without achieving freedom, it does not have to be your story if you choose to think differently, learn continuously, act courageously, and commit to the long game of personal and financial growth.